here for the celebration and worship of Allah in Eid al Adha. The word Eid and the word Adha, both of them very important words. The word Eid, literally, it comes from the root word of Awada yu'awwidhu in Arabic language. In Farsi and Urdu, Pashto, we say Awdat. Awdat comes from the word Eid, or Eid comes from Awdat. Means return. So Eid means return. Return to what? Return to a happy time on an annual basis. That's what literally Eid means. And Eid also means a happy time, a time of celebration, a time of festivity. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used that word Eid in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Ma'idah, Isa alayhi salam, when he made dua based on the request of his disciples, وإذ قال عيسى ابن مريم اللهم ربنا أنزل علينا مائدة من السماء تكون لنا عيدا لأولنا وآخرنا وآية منك. Said, Ya Allah, send a special table of food from the skies to us, so that it becomes a time of Eid for us, a happy time and time of celebration. And so that it becomes a sign and a miracle from you that people all learn. So the word Eid has been used in the Quran in the meaning of a happy time, a time of celebration. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam also used the word Eid. He said, Ya Abu Bakr, O Abu Bakr, إِنَّ لِكُلِّ قَوْمٍ عِيدًا وَهَذَا عِيدُنَا. He said, different communities have different kinds of celebrations, but our celebration is this Eid. Our Eid is this. He said, now eat and drink and enjoy yourself, but remember Allah. Remember Allah when you eat, when you drink. What should I eat, what should I drink? That Allah will be pleased with. And how I should celebrate the Eid, that Allah will be pleased with. Eid, we said, also means return. And it's return to our origin. Our origin in this world, when we came as a pure, innocent baby. Eid is a time to return that purity. And Ali ibn Abi Talib, the fourth Khalifa of Islam, he said that any day of the year that you do not do a sin, that is Eid. Any day of the year that you do not do a sin, that is Eid. So Eid is about staying away from sins and turning towards purity. And then we have Eid al Adha. Adha means sacrifice. Sacrifice is a very beautiful concept in Islam and in human life. Very few people are ready to sacrifice something. But Allah has made our life in such a way that we love to sacrifice. For what? For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because He's the owner of everything that He gives us. So we better return it back to Him. If He asks us to spend our money, to spend our time, our energy, our wealth, our education, our degrees, we better spend it in His path. And this concept of sacrifice was beautifully demonstrated by Ibrahim alayhi salam, Ismail alayhi salam, and Hajra radiallahu anha in an outstanding manner. That Allah loved it so much that Allah wanted believers to celebrate this and to commemorate this every year until the end of this world. Allah loved this sacrifice so much that He wanted human beings to do this every year until the end of this life, end of this world. And why Allah wanted us to celebrate? It's not just celebration, but to remind ourselves of the concept of sacrifice in the path of Allah. Since Allah wanted to do this every year until the end of this world, it means that this story of Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam is not an ancient story. It is not an old story. It is a story of contemporary times. Because Allah knew that 5,000 years, 6,000 years, Muslims will be living in America, what kind of life they will have. And Allah said, in America and Europe, wherever you are, remind a logical approach. He questioned everything. That does it make sense to worship stars? Does it make sense to worship the moon, the sun? Does it make sense to worship statues? He logically concluded that none of them are worthy of my worship. I should worship the one who created the sun and the moon and the stars and who created me and everybody else. And he made a solid and final decision. He said, إِنِّي وَجَهْتُ وَجْهِيَ لِلَّذِي فَطَرَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. I have now submitted and turned my face to the one who created this whole world. I'm submitting to him. So after he developed his iman and he developed his trust in Allah, then he submitted himself to Allah in such a beautiful way that after that, whatever Allah asked him to do, he did not even question it. He right away jumped on it. Because he knew that Allah, whatever he asked us to do, there are thousands and millions of benefits and millions of reasons and millions of wisdom behind it. So that's the kind of trust that we should develop. And that's the kind of iman that we should develop. You know, we should not say that, oh, I believe because my parents told me to believe. Oh, I believe because as a Muslim I'm supposed to believe in this. Excuse me, brothers. Brothers, please. The khutbah is a time of worship, not time of story to talk to each other. So, you know, Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam developed their faith and then they submitted and they believed as a true Muslim and lived as a true Muslim. If we also have any questions about our iman, we should ask questions. Does it make sense, or do I really believe that there's a God? Is there only one God? Is there another life? Is there a book of truth, the Quran? And I have to convince myself that there are enough plenty of intellectual evidence if you really do a search in a sincere manner to find out about the truth of Islam. Islam is the only religion on the earth that makes sense, but they ask you to believe. Any other religion, ask them, what should I believe to become your follower, the follower of your religion? You'll find out that it doesn't make sense. They are asking you things that doesn't make sense. Islam is the only thing that makes sense what you should believe. And then, once you truly develop your faith, then you submit, and then your submission is Islam. And you become a Muslim, and you say, now I am submitting myself, meaning I am now willing to do whatever Allah asks me to do. This is number one lesson. Number two, Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ismail alayhi salam taught us that if you claim to love Allah, you should be able to sacrifice the most beloved things that you have to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the cause of Allah, right? Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ismail and Hajra were willing to sacrifice their only son. And Ismail alayhi salam was ready to sacrifice his own life. So you and I should ask, what kind of sacrifices I am offering to Allah? My time, my energy, my degree, my education, all of them Allah has given me. So I should be willing and I should be happy to sacrifice any of it in the cause of Allah. This is the second lesson. The third lesson, that Ibrahim alayhi salam grew up in Iraq and then lived in Palestine. But Ismail alayhi salam grew up in Mecca. Two different cultures, two different areas. Today it sounds like, oh, they are all Middle East, they are different cultures. If you ask the people who live in those places, they have completely different cultures. But when it came to obedience of Allah, they did not have any cultural gap between them. They equally submitted to Allah. And they did not say that, oh, Dad, you grew up in Iraq, different place, I grew up in Mecca, I cannot do like you do, I cannot obey Allah. They both equally obeyed Allah. Regardless of what culture you grew up. Yes, some cultural differences are understandable. If our children say that, hey, my taste of food is different from your taste, Dad. You like baboli, you like this and that. I like hamburgers and all that. Okay, fine, no problem. But if our children say that you love this kind of dress, I love this kind of dress. Okay, no problem, as long as the dress meets the Islam code of Islam. So cultural differences, no problem. But when it comes to obedience of Allah, there should not be any difference. Also, they were two different generations. Ismail alayhi salam did not say, Dad, you are a different generation, I am a different generation. They equally obeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this time of Eid, we make takbirat. We say Allahu Akbar so many times. reminding ourselves that Allah is the greatest. Allah should be greater than anything else in our minds and our hearts. Allah should be greater than any big problem that we are facing. Allah is greater than any enemy that wants to do something against you. Allah is greater than any power. And we must feel it and live by that Allah is the greatest. And finally, remind yourself that what is my status with Allah? And if I have any goals in life, the next 10, 20, 40 years, if I'm alive, what do I want to accomplish? Ask yourself that question and make sure that you have the right goals that are pleasing to Allah and it's really beneficial for you. And reflect on your relationship with family. If you have any ill feelings with your family members and relatives, please make sure that you send an Eid Mubarak to them or call them and connect with your family, even though you think they are at fault, but you do so that you get the reward. And think about the Ummah of Islam, what is happening among Muslims, make dua for them and stand for justice. May Allah help all of us to reflect on these points and make this Eid the historical Eid for ourselves and for our families. May Allah help each one of us to come closer and closer to Him every single day. May Allah accept our dua and our ibadah and our sacrifices. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Walillahi alhamd. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, walillahi alhamd. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wal aqibatu lil muttaqeen, was salatu was salamu ala rasulil ameen, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi, ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك سميع قريب مجيب دعوات اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم انصر إخواننا المؤمنين اللهم انصرهم في كل مكان اللهم اجعلنا من عبادك الصادقين اللهم اجعلنا من عبادك المخلصين اللهم اجعلنا من عبادك المقربين اللهم اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين انعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين الله اكبر الله اكبر لا Eid Mubarak, my dear brothers and sisters, Eid Mubarak.